we negotiated with Mom for another cookie.
That's right.
Or we negotiated with Dad to get out of a spanking because we did something bad. I'd like you to close your eyes just for a minute with me. And I want you to think back, maybe to even when you were very, very young, about your first real negotiating sales experience. It didn't have to be a cookie or a spanking, it could have been something else. You got a picture of that in your mind? Okay, you can open your eyes. I'm going to share with you some of my own experiences in learning about sales and learning about customer service that might have a lesson for all of us in it. My grandfather was a professional man, but he had the Midas touch. Almost everything he ever invested in turned into money. And he had a lot of, I grew up in Greenville. He had a lot of rental properties around town. That was back when Greenville was about a tenth the size that it is today. But on Saturday, he and I would get in the car. I was like 4 or 5 years old. And we'd go around collecting his rents. And then around noon, we would stop at Mr. Louis' cigar store and lunch counter. You've been in places like that, haven't you? And we would have a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich on toast. We always had the same waitress because Mr. Louis only had one. Her name was Wanda. Everybody knows somebody named Wanda, right? And am I talking loud enough? Is the sound? Can you hear me in the back? Wanda always knew to tell the cook to get 2 BLTs going the minute that she saw us walk in the door. And she'd always come over to our table and talk with my grandfather about what he was doing, how the family was, and she'd tell him a little bit about hers, her family. She was a single mom raising 3 kids. I don't know whether it happened to Daddy, but he wasn't there. So when we would get up to leave, my grandfather would leave a dollar bill on the table. Now, to a 5-year-old kid, a dollar bill back in the 40s was a lot of money. I looked it up the other day on Google. Today it would be $16.47. That was a pretty big tip for 2 BLTs. And so I asked him when we got in the car, I called him Pop. I said, Pop, why did you leave so much money on the table? He said, well, Jerry, I left it there for several reasons. One, Wanda gives us great service, doesn't she? And she's always interested in us. She always talks and finds out about how our family is, and tells us a little bit about how her family is doing. And she always makes sure that the toast is just right, never burned, and the bacon is always crisp, not too soggy. And she just takes good care of us and makes us feel very, very welcome. And he said, that's the kind of customer service that whatever you end up doing in life, you need to be conscious of. So he said, I'm rewarding her for her good customer service. But he said, I also know that she has a hard time with 3 children. She's the only source of income in the family. And she needs that money. Well, I thought about that. And I thought, yeah, I can understand, what is now $16.47. My dad was a professional man too. He practiced with my grandfather. But he knew a lot about marketing because he had been in the furniture business before he became a professional. And when I got my first paper route, I was 11 years old. He said, how many people you got on your route? And I said, well, I deliver 64 papers, Dad. He said, well, how many houses are on your route? And I said, Dad, I don't have any idea. He said, well, why don't you get a pad and a pencil? Ballpoint pens weren't invented back then. That's how old I am. And let's take a ride. So we started down at one end of my route, and we drove, and he said, now, count the number of houses on your side, and I'll count them on my side. And when we get to the end of the block, we'll stop, and you write down how many houses are on that block. And we'll do that throughout the whole route. Well, the route was, like 2 miles long. So there was a lot of houses. When we got through, it was over 150 houses. And he said, now you know why that's important? I said, no, sir, no. He said, well, you got 64, 65 customers now. And there's 150 houses on your route. How many prospects is that for you? So I did the math real quickly. I said, wow. He said, what if you could sell every one of those prospects a subscription to the newspaper? What would that do for your income? Well, practically triple it. I said, well, how do I do that, Dan? He said, well, I don't know that. I said, well, why don't you go talk to your district manager, the guy who hired you, and see if he has any ideas. So I had to go down each Saturday and pay my bill at the Greenville News. And I asked the district manager, I told him the story about how we'd gone out and canvassed the route and found out there were 150 houses out there, of which we only had 64. He said, that's terrible. I said, no, that's great. He said, it is. I said, yeah, think about all those prospects out there. But I said, I don't know how to sell them. He said, well, I tell you what, I'll put 5 extra papers in your bundle every Saturday morning. Now, I'm going to charge you for them, because I want you to have some skin in the game. But what I want you to do is, when you start your route, when you come to a house that does not subscribe, I want you to go ring the bell or knock on the door and introduce yourself and hand them a copy of the Greenville News and tell them that I deliver the paper every morning to your neighbors, and I'd like to be able to deliver it to your home too. Would you like to subscribe? Well, it took me about a year, but I had over 100 subscribers by the time, within that first 6 months, by just doing that, giving them a sample. And think about that. How often do you give a come over there? That's something to do when you get back. Say, how can I sample what I do to give them the experience of enjoying what my product or my service will do for them? Of course, that developed a new problem for me too. I used to be able, when I had 64 customers, I used to be able to collect and go pay my bill and come back and play ball with my buddies in the afternoon. Now that I had over 100, guess what happened to my Saturday? I was out there knocking on doors and collecting money. Well, there was a nice thing that happened to me. I went back to see my district manager, and I said, I don't like to complain, but I've got a problem. I don't ever have any time on Saturday except for my paper route. He said, why is that? I said, well, I got so many people now, it takes me all day to collect. He said, I've got an idea for you. We're getting ready to launch something called prepay, where they can pay in advance and send a check. There weren't any credit cards back then. They can send a check to the paper once a quarter. And the more people we get on the prepay, I'm going to end up paying you instead of you paying me for the newspapers. So think about that too. How many of you get paid in advance before you perform the service or before you give them the product. And how many of us don't and have a problem collecting for it later? How many of you think of yourself as being in the plumbing business, the electrical supply business, the healthcare business, the Chamber of Commerce business like Odie back there, and you look at other people in your industry for ideas that you can improve your performance and your income? How many of you think that? All right, that's natural. I want to suggest that you ought to think a different way from now on. I want you to think that you're in the marketing business. Every one of us are in that business. Now, we may be marketing plumbing or electrical supplies or Chamber of Commerce memberships or subscriptions to the Lexington County Chronicle, but we're all in the marketing and sales business. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week. I want to teach you how to become a media darling. Can everybody see that? Is there any way to turn down some of these lights, Odie, without turning them all off? Mark's shooting. Yeah, no, we better leave them on then.
Yep.
We're trying to get this so we can put it on YouTube. Ashley, you want to change them?
Yes, sir.
Jerry Foss has got good eyes, we can see it.
Pardon?
We can see it. I said, we can see it.
Okay, can you see it okay? All right. All right, here's some questions I want you to answer for yourself. And you can make a note of it. But I want you to spend some time also, long after we're here this morning together, to think about what you answered. And that is, what makes me and my products and my services and my company and my customers different? And how can I make my products and services deliver a better job for them? I also want you to think about a book I've been reading. It's called Competing with Luck. Competing Against Luck. It's written by a man named Clayton Christensen. It's a great book because he boils down what we do every day to one essential principle. What is the job that your customer wants done for him or her from the product or service that you deliver? What is the job? You know, you don't go over to the hardware store and buy a 1/4-inch drill just because you want a 1/4-inch drill bit, right? You want to be able to drill a 1/4-inch hole. So that's the job that that product is supposed to deliver. I want you to know our customers don't love us for who we are. I know we're wonderful personalities, vivacious people. We go to the ends of the earth to satisfy their needs. But they don't love us for that. They love us for how we make them feel. So we're going to talk a lot about this morning about creating an experience for our customers that will help them become clients for life. The next question I want you to answer for yourself is, what makes me, my products, my services, my company better than my competition? Or, if I'm not better than them now, what is it that I need to do to become better than my competition? To create great experiences for my customers. Think for a minute. What if you were a dentist? Now, is there anybody in the room who really looks forward to going to the dentist?
Right.
I do. Believe it or not. You know, and I'm not weird. I just got a great dentist. I never have to sit for a half an hour in his reception area because they're ready for me when I get there. He has got that practice so choreographed that I'm in the chair within 5 minutes of walking in the door. I hardly have time to go over and have a cup of coffee, and he's got one of those big coffee things that make a single cup. Keurig. And he's got about 1,100 different flavors there to choose from. He's also got Otis Spunkmeyer chocolate chip cookies there. And his reception area looks like a living room, right? It's comfortable. I mean, I wouldn't mind waiting for 15 or 20 minutes while I have a cookie and a cup of coffee. But Beth, his hygienist, has me in that chair within 5 minutes, and they had me out of there in 35 to 40 minutes. I can set my clock by. Now, he has learned, his name's Greg White, he's over in Irmo, and I drive him all the way over to Irmo from Lexington. Just because. Think about, you're not a dentist. You don't have to overcome the idea in people's mind that going to the dentist is going to be an ordeal. But how can you create an experience with your products and services for your customers that makes you better than anybody else? Now, the third question that you need to answer is, why should they buy from us? And I want you to append a little note to it. Who are those 10 to 20% of the market that's going to want to buy from you? You know, when I started selling Watkins products to keep my car going in college, anybody even heard of Watkins products?
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right. When I started selling Watkins products, I thought, you know, look at all those houses. I found that if I got one customer per block, I was lucky. Right? You know who my best customer was? My mother.
Right.
She bought all kind of stuff from me because she wanted to encourage me. When we cleaned out my mother's house when she moved to a nursing home, I found 3 bottles of vanilla extract from Watkins products that had been sitting in her cabinet for 50 years. But who are your customers? I know that 20% of the B2B market needs advertising. Well, 100% needs advertising. 20% know they need advertising. So am I going to go call on the 80% who haven't figured that out yet? Of course not. And you're already. So if you know who your customer is and why they need what you've got, why the experience you're going to create for them is going to be wonderful, then why should you even bother to worry about the 80%? Go after the 20% that really needs and wants what you got to offer. Now, that marketing is the one business that everybody in this room is in. And that includes Odie, and me, and Ashley. Oh, Ashley Steele, our associate publisher. Think about Ashley. Now, advertising is the paid promotion, whether it's online, in print, on the air, on billboards, wherever. Advertising is the paid promotion that brings your cash register. That's where you make offers to the people who need and want what you've got to offer. You're going to either relieve their pain or you're going to help them realize their dreams. Publicity is different. That's free. But the trick is being able to convince some news director or webmaster or editor to publish it. That's the hard part. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But advertising is what you pay for. Publicity is what you pray for. Okay, advertising helps us sell our products and our services to the people who want and need them. Publicity is news about us and our people. It's news about our business, and it's news about our company does not have a community cause or a charitable organization that you support. Let me suggest that you do that now. Now, at the Chronicle, we run a lot of ads for a lot of organizations. Some pay, some don't. Golf tournaments, fundraisers of different kinds to help them attract the kind of people who will participate and help them raise money. We also sponsor a group called Turning Pages, which is an adult literacy tutoring program. And why would you think that we would want to do that? But we're a newspaper. We want everybody to be able to read, right? So find a charity that's aligned with whatever your products and services are, or something that's near and dear to your heart, and adopt them. Work with them. It's giving back to our community. Here's where the things that you might think about for publicity to send to WIS, CNN, Fox News, the Lexington County Chronicle, the New York Times, the state newspaper, Columbia Business Monthly, David Tanner's Midland's Biz Daily. But are you planning a big event of some kind? That's news. Are you planning a fundraiser? We're planning a fundraiser. Please make a note of this. Saturday, December the 3rd, right up here at the flight deck, we have a dozen local authors, all have published books. They will be there autographing their books for you to give as gifts to people who already have everything in the world, but you'd like to give them a memorable gift. And it'll say, like, say Charles Lee's mother wants to give him a nice book, right? She comes in, she buys one of the books from one of our authors, and he autographs it, or she autographs it to Charles Lee, a great guy. And they all put that sign together. Now, is that not a memorable gift?
Yes.
That money that we're raising goes to Turning Pages to help them tutor more adults who slip through the cracks and cannot read or write, or read and write very hesitantly. Are you planning a new location? Is your business expanding? Are you moving the business? That's news. Major expansion of your business. Anything that's new in your business. You won an award. You know, we just ran an article in last week's paper about Saluda River Club being honored by the home builders of South Carolina or the nation as one of the premier residential developments in the world. That was news, right? Now, things like that, you're going to be recognized by the professional association that you belong to, or the business associations you belong to. We have an article coming up next week about all the people that the Casey West Columbia Chamber gave at their annual awards dinner. When is the Lexington Chamber's awards dinner? February, okay. What's the date? Have you picked a date yet?
Yeah, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay, all right. So watch for that. That'll be a great event, right? Always is. Lexington Chamber events are out of this world. Have you won a big award or gained a promotion, hired a new employee, or promoted an employee? That's what publicity is about. But you have to make sure that you get to the right person, the news director, the editor, the webmaster, whoever's in charge of the publication, whether it's digital or on the air or in line. And the way to do that, of course, is to call and say, listen, I'm Charles Lee from the XYZ company, and we're having a big fundraiser for XYZ, and I'd just like to know who I need to get the information about that to for your publication or your television station or your radio station or whatever. Here's a sample news release that you could write for them. And believe me, don't send it on paper. Find out what their email address is and send it to them in email so they can just download it easily. In fact, put the text in the message window so they can read it to see whether it's something that their readers or listeners or viewers would be interested in. So up at the top, put news release, obviously. When you want it released, in this case immediately, who the contact is if they have any questions. In this case it's Mr. Paul Revere, anybody remember him? His phone number and his email address, paulrevere@yahoo.com. Then this is a little something we just made up for fun for Pete. Pete Oliver, how many of you know Pete? Oh, a lot of people do. Pete Oliver named Humanitarian of the Year. And then it goes on, it has a date line, explains where this is happening. The Great Americans Association named local entrepreneur and South Carolina Small Business Development Center executive Pete Oliver as a Humanitarian of the Year. Oliver is recognized for his charitable work on behalf of entrepreneurs and guiding the South Carolina Small Business Development Center and other community improvements. He will be honored at the Great American Association's National Convention in Little Mountain, South Carolina. I mean, it doesn't have to be long. In fact, they like them, the shorter the better. Just answer all the questions. Now, in this particular question, we didn't say when it's going to be. You know, it's going to be in Little Mountain in December the 25th or January the 1st. But we should have said that. So have someone else in your organization read the news release before you send it out and say, what questions would you have that I might not have answered in this news release? Because you don't want the news director having to call you back and say, hey, Mama, when are you doing this thing? Start with the media. First, you have to become your own best promoter between your ears. Right? You've got to recognize that that's part of what you do. You need to get to know the media people who publish news for the people that you want to reach. Now, if you're on a golf course, of course, you would want to be on a golfing publication, would you not? How many people in here run golf courses? Right? So, we're not worried about golfing publications, but we are concerned that we get our message out in the local newspaper, the local radio station, the local TV people, the local magazines. Lexington Life is a good example. So you need to know who you need to talk to and who you need to send it to at these organizations. You need to let them know that you're going to send them something too. Now, it's all right, I probably get a couple of dozen news releases a day in my email inbox. I generally can tell that about 3 of them might make it in the paper. I mean, they're from all over the world, some of them. I get a lot of news releases from Washington that have absolutely nothing to do with whatever we're doing here in Lexington, South Carolina. So I just delete them. But the 3 that might be of interest to readers of my newspaper are the ones I'm going to pay attention to. If they call me and say, I'm sending you a news release and it's about so-and-so, that also primes me to look for it in my inbox. So it doesn't hurt to send them the news release and also give them a call. If you don't feel like you've got the writing skills, and not everybody does, I didn't when I started, but I wanted to be a writer, so I learned how. If you feel like you don't have the writing skills or have anyone in your organization who does, then you can hire a pro. But I guarantee you, the news release I just showed you about Pete Oliver's humanitarian award is a really simple thing. You know, if you can write a letter to your mother or your husband or your wife or a note to your children, you can write a news release. It's not a big deal. If the editor or the news director or whoever calls you about the release, be sure that you take the call. They're not going to call you back twice, believe me. If anything goes wrong, and this occasionally happens, if anything goes wrong and they call, be honest about it. If it's a surprise to you that your warehouse burned down overnight, then say, gee, thank you for letting me know about that, but I'm down here at the warehouse right now, and I'll be glad to, as soon as the fire marshal gets through inspecting the place, I'll be glad to call you back with whatever details I have. Don't know the answer, tell them you don't, but you will find out and get back to them. If it's a major problem, always tell the media, we're very concerned and we'll find a way to fix it. How many of you remember the incident, this goes back probably 20 years, where a TV crew posing as Food Line employees went into their butcher department, their meat department at one of the stores where they were unwrapping meat, and they, with little body cameras, filmed a butcher picking up a piece of meat off the floor and wrapping it up and putting it out for sale. Anybody remember that? I know Dave Taylor did. Well, that was shown on, I think it was ABC did it, but ABC showed that on one of their news programs. The switchboard at Food Line in Salisbury, North Carolina lit up like a Christmas tree. Whoever was the flat catcher, that's what we call them in the news business, whoever was the designated person to receive complaints or media calls was trying to field the calls, and he was given a statement by the management to read, which said basically, we don't know whether this is true or not, but we will look into it. Well, that's kind of a tacit denial, is it not? What they should have said is, we're very concerned about this, and we're going to find out what's going on, and we assure you we will fix it. Next. Okay. Let's talk about advertising for a moment. Now, this is the part that you pay for. The difference between advertising and publicity, though, that should be important to you is with publicity, although it's free, you send it out, and once it leaves you, you don't know what they're going to do to it. Editors and news directors may not be the most reliable people in the world. I don't want to plant any seeds of doubt in your mind, but I'm just saying that once you send a news release, you're kind of at their mercy as to what gets in there. Right, David? Now, in advertising, because you're paying for it, you control 100% of the message. You know what's going to be published because you authorize it. Does anybody know what direct response advertising is? Oh, we got one. Can you tell us what direct response advertising is to you? I know Alicia knows. Yeah.
It's putting an ad in the wherever it is, either print
or sales letter,
or sales letter, right? That has a call to action, an immediate call to action.
That's right. It makes a strong offer to the people, and you're sending it to the people that you know want or need the product, and you're making a very strong offer and calling for them to make the purchase decision right now. How many of you get junk mail? Do you know that 90% of the junk mail is just junk? You thought it was 100%. Believe me, 10% of it is probably pretty good stuff. because it was done by a professional, direct response writer who knew what he or she was doing. But you can recognize the difference because they make you a good offer, one that you're intrigued by. You know, I got one, a $500 trip to Ireland for 5 days, but it's the middle of the winter. So I kind of went on by that, but that was a direct response offer. They were offered to fly me to Ireland, put me up for 5 days for $500. I could hardly afford to stay home for that kind of money. But it was in January. I didn't want to go to Ireland then. Okay, make irresistible offers. Remember what the Godfather said. Make them an offer they can't refuse. Now, not everybody is going to consider that an irresistible offer. So think about if you were in the mattress business and you were advertising a mattress sale, how many people reading the newspaper would actually be in the market to buy a new mattress this week? Probably 5 or 6%. But if you get them into your store and you successfully sell them, the ad did a good job for you, right? It created a good experience for you. Now, next week, are you going to put an ad back in the paper?
Yes.
Yes. Because that 5 or 6% in the market is going to change. Because some of them have already bought a mattress, some of them are still thinking about it. The third week, that market, that 5 or 6% is going to, that's a flexible, changing mini market that you need to be able to attract to selling your mattresses or whatever your product or service is. Be sure and tell them why your product or your service is the choice for them to make. And a great way to do that is to run testimonials in your advertising that tells, are we running over time? What time are we supposed to?
You got 15
We have 15
more.
minutes? Okay. I just saw some people bailing out, so I didn't know whether we were running
A couple
over or not.
students had to go.
Yeah, good class.
They're going to class, okay. Good for them. They're learning. Charleston, you and Jazz need to leave?
Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, good. All right. Tell them why you're the best choice. Testimonials from your happy customers are one of the best ways to do that. I mean, you can say great things about your products and services, but, you know, people are suspicious of what we say about ourselves. But if someone else tells you that this is the best mattress I ever slept on, right? And that fellow from My Pillow talking about all his wonderful things he does with his pillow on television, doesn't mean anything until somebody else comes on and says, I had the best night's sleep I ever had with My Pillow. So, use testimonials. Add value, not discounts. Now, value might be buy one, get one free. But see, by buying one, they're getting a little something extra from you. Lagniappe is the French word. Everybody must always try to give a little something extra to your customers. So add value rather than offering it to them at 50%. So you get on half the money. Offer buy one, get one free, and you get all the money, but you give them a little something extra. And show the benefits, not the features. You know, they don't care whether it's a 3/4 inch drill bit or not. They want to know that it will drill a 3/4 inch hole. Next. Okay, more advertising strategies. Use testimonials from happy clients, deliriously happy clients, who are willing to put their name on it, where they live, their picture. We run ads for a chiropractor down near White Knoll, and it has the pictures of his patients and their names. You know, it just says Jack Lexington. That could be anybody, right? You could have written that. But if it says Otis Rawl Lexington and has his picture in it, are you liable to believe that that's what Otis says about this product? And using pictures, show happy people using your product or your service. And most people, most of your customers, I would say most being at least 51%, are going to be happy to let you take a picture of them and put it in your ad. Always, always offer a money-back guarantee. I have offered money-back guarantees for 30 years. You know how many people have asked for their money back?
Zero.
Zero. Absolutely. Now, it may not have been that they were completely satisfied that it did exactly what they wanted to do, but they never asked for their money back. So, even if you got one who asked for their money back, is that a big deal? I'd rather give them their money back than have them going out telling notice what a lousy product I've got, right? Always, always give them a deadline to respond. This offer is good for one day only, or this offer is good through Friday, or this offer is good for 6 days. If you watch television, they'll tell you. Now, if you will call this 800 number within the next 14 minutes,
Yes.
we will give you these extra Ginsu knives, right? And always include your website address, telephone number. Here's an ad from my dentist that I enjoy going to see. He has a beautiful little hygienist who always takes care of me. Her name is Beth. She lives here in Lexington. This is an ad we ran for him. It's a huge testimonial. It says, 65-year-old grandmother ends frustration with dental anxiety. She was afraid to go to the dentist where she had some bad teeth because she didn't want to endure the pain, right? He offers sedation dentistry. He'll put you to sleep while he does whatever your mouth needs, and then when he gets through, he wakes you up and you go home. So this is what this ad is all about. It tells her story about how she got her bad teeth fixed. She got her smile back, right? And there she is with her grandson. Oh, now here's some, this is going to make your day. Here's some ads that used to run in magazines and newspapers. To keep her slender figure, no one can deny, reach for a lucky straw. You can tell how old that one is, right? Or, you mean a woman can open it? The next thing we know, they'll be wanting to vote, right? All right. The ideal brain tonic, delightful summer-winter beverage. Specific for headaches, relieves mental and physical exhaustion. Right. Here's the one, the kid with the razor, right? Begin early, shave yourself. Gillette safety razors. A new kind of hat, worn 10 minutes a day. Boy, I need this. Grows hair in 30 days, or no cost to you, right? There's a money back guarantee, right? Don't worry, darling, you didn't burn the beer. Is Schlitz even sold anymore? I don't think so either. I don't think that ad drove them out of business. Men wouldn't look at me when I was skinny, but since I gained 10 pounds as new as the way, I have all the dates I want. You've been a great audience today, and I've enjoyed being with you. I hope you've enjoyed being with me. We do put out a weekly newsletter called Success Street Secrets. It's for entrepreneurs and business people. If you'd like to receive it, send me a note or call us at 359-7633. And I think that's on your note sheet how you can get the weekly newsletter. We also send out a monthly newsletter called the Marketing Advisor. If you get on the list, you'll get money. Do we have any questions before we adjourn? which was we covered.
You have on your notes here about the three-legged stool, the market, the
Oh.
message, and the media.
Oh, yeah, right, okay, well, I should have mentioned that to you. Think of it when you're planning your marketing for 2017, and if you don't already have your plan in place, now you better get started, because you've only got, 7 weeks left and 6 weeks left in this year. When you're planning, think about marketing as a three-legged stool. Marketing is everything that you do to make your customers happy. I mean, it's from sending me reminders from my dentist that I've got another visit to have my teeth cleaned November the 30th, which comes to me digitally, comes to me on a postcard, and I also get a call from his office. He wants to make sure I'm in that chair on November the 30th at 10 o'clock. To walking in the door like it's a living room, to getting out of there in 45 minutes, and not having to wait 45 minutes to get into the chair, that's all part of marketing. Advertising is what you do to attract prospects and re-attract your clients. I mean, it takes a little time, but to publicize your business and let the community know what you're doing, particularly the good things you're doing. Any questions?
So the marketing, the message is
Right.
the written form or the...
And the media.
And the media.
Right. So the marketing, we explained, the message is what you got to say, and the media is the best place to say it. Any other questions? I'd like to compliment all of you for getting up early this morning and being with us. Alicia, do you want to tell them about some of the programs that are coming up next year?
We're going to be having a planning session actually right after this session about the ones.
Thank you, Sam. And Jerry's a very sharing person.